seniors at Penn State who 4 years ago were freshmen. And talk about unkept promises. Not only were the promises not kept, how much worse their future is because of these past 4 years of Barack Obama. Now, President Obama and this administration, you're going to hear over and over again how much better off that Americans are. But it's just not true. Because you look at the facts, and I like dealing with the facts. You know, frankly, I love to debate. My wife will tell you I like to argue. but I like to debate. But I like a debate that's based on the facts and on science, not on emotion. And unfortunately, too much of this campaign is with Barack Obama. The facts are not in his favor of the past 4 years. So he's going to deal with emotion and trying to just tell people things that are not true. And think about those seniors today here at Penn State, and frankly around every university in this country, and every college in this country, who 4 years ago, when he was elected and he made all these promises, they were freshmen. So what do they have to do? Are their opportunities for the future better off than what they were 4 years ago? I don't think so. You know, they're getting ready they're within, let's say, 6 months of graduating. And so they're getting ready to go into the workforce. Well, they're going into the workforce at a time where there's 23 million Americans who are either unemployed or seriously underemployed. You know, that's some pretty tough and steep competition to be able to take your education, and a great education at this university, and to go out and to capitalize on it, to use it. Now, you compound that with the fact that we have a president that is in full tilt mode of cutting the funding for our military. And as he lays off many of what I think are America's heroes, those young men and women in those demographics, that age range between 18 and 29, they're just going to get, you know, they're going to be adding to the number of unemployed and underemployed, making all the more competition for that demographic for good-paying jobs. Anthony relayed on the fact that college tuition has gone up over 25%. 25%. You know, I'm on the Education Workforce Committee. We've got ideas. We've got things we've worked on in order to make higher education accessible and affordable. But frankly, this is also the administration that federalized all student loans. Now, when I graduated from Penn State a few decades ago, I financed my education by student loans. And I went out to my local bank, and I was able to do that. You know, today you can't do that. Today you're dependent on the federal government. You have to go to the federal government. This president did that. His first 2 years, he federalized all student loans. And then we have a debt clock in the other room that needs updated. As Anthony said, approximately, I don't know, about a half an hour ago, that debt clock, for the first time ever in the history of this country, went over $16 trillion. You know, when President Obama was sworn in, that debt clock was basically, it was too high. Honestly, it was too high. But it was probably just under $10 trillion then. It was too high. Today, it goes over $6 trillion. That's $6 trillion of increase of the national debt on his watch. I love in the other room, there's some quotes, you know, because you need to pay attention when people are running for office to see what promises they make, to see if they're sincere or not. And this president said he'd never had he wouldn't add anything to the national debt. He would never do that. And yet he has taken us and essentially almost doubled the national debt with the figures that are there. We're